Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Churchill III. It's the Tier 5 Soviet premium heavy tank. It's located on the north spawn of Redshire, and this one is under the command of FiliPer1n0. Well, there were 301 of these sent to the Soviet Union under Lend-Lease. All came from the UK, and they were armed with either the 6-pounder or the 2-pounder. I think most of them actually had the 6-pounder gun though, because they were Churchill 3s and Churchill 4s. Not all of them made the trip because, or completed the trip, because some of them actually ended up under the water in the North Cape. I've got sunk by bombers or taken out by submarines. Some of the convoys just never made it. Anyway, Churchill 3 is, well, one of the lowest tiers that you can actually get for a premium vehicle on the Soviet line, which is actually useful because this thing can actually be used to train the heavy tank crews for much further up the line, and it's well worth it considering it's got pretty good armour for a heavy tank, and that 57mm gun, which is basically the equivalent of a 6-pounder, is very effective at punishing and penetrating enemy armour. It only does 175 alpha rather, but it does penetrate 100mm with standard ammo and 180 with premium. You can see that FiliPer1n0's loaded the premium straight away, and he is up against some other Churchill 3s and Excelsiors and KV1s. Now, it should be noted that quite a few British tanks were actually involved in the defence of Moscow during 1941. And I think the Soviets were very grateful to actually have some of these available, because they were pretty solid pieces of engineering. Good shots all on the weak spots. He's punching holes through that KV-220. And remember, that's a Tier 7 hull he's penetrating. Okay, he's now going to get the weak spots on the mantlet of Churchill 3. KV-220's out of the game. Going straight for the weak spots, either the mantlet or the driver's viewport. Okay, the Excelsiors join the fight now, but these shells will just go straight through. They got more than enough penetration for that 115mm of armour at the front of his vehicle. Excelsior is just taking a pounding. Wow, that was a huge number of shells fired, but he got 2,000 hit points of damage in the process. And he's now going to work on that Churchill 3 again. You see how he's just carving through the armour. He just got splattered by an Su-122A with an Arty round, and he actually got a fairly decent hit. Churchill 3's down, KV-220's come back, well, it's actually a new one, so he's having to aim now for the weak spots again. He might be better. Oh, there's that Su-122, but this time round he hit the tracks. He's had to disengage for a moment. He's lost his gunner and he's lost his radio operator. The gunner's more important, obviously. Luckily, he does have a good crew. Okay, now he has to change back to the other side because the enemy just killed our KV-222 and their one is now pushing. So he has to pull back to get shots on that guy, and all he can hit is the top of the turret, but that's okay. That's a weak spot, so he can switch to standard ammo if he wants to, but he's just staying with the premium to get the maximum damage. Now this is a problem. The Excelsior's decided to race through. He goes down. Now we're hitting the sides of the KV-222, and he's out the game, so that's 2 killed. He's got his gunner back in. Okay, now he can turn the tables on those guys up ahead, but I'm not sure he can actually drive up there in time. So he changed his mind to come back and hold this corner. He probably can go forward now if he wanted to. That's the KV-1 shielded, I think, that one up the head. It's the one from the Christmas boxes, and he's gone. So there's only 3 enemy tanks left, and it looks like FiliPer1n0 has managed to get the highest damage in the game. Well, he's got 20% of the enemy hit pool. That's not a guarantee that he's got the high caliber, but it's very likely given that he's now got 3,292 hit points of damage in a tier 5 game, and normally that would be a game-winning amount. The only enemy left now is their SU-122A, and we know he's way over at the back of the map behind the cap area because that's where the shell came in from. And the only way you could get a shell into that corner would be if you're actually well over onto the west side of the map. And I think he's well outside the view range. So I'm not so sure that he's going to see that SU-122 even if they do find him. He's hoping that he's within it, but I think he's a little further over. Oh, he actually went down to the river. And he selected the armor piercing. There you go. And he gets killed before FiliPer1n0 can claim him. And at the last minute, he platooned with one of his teammates, and that was in the AMX CLC Biz. Well, that was one hell of a battle, and it was an ace tank again for FiliPer1n0 in the Churchill III. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, a Hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from 4 different enemies, a Duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him during the game, and a Fire for effect for doing more damage to the hit points to his own vehicle. He platooned with somebody else who had at least 3 kills. He had 3 kills, so they both ended up with the Brothers in Arms. He got a Steel Wolf for surviving the battle, having received them or blocked the most damage in the game, and a High Caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. And very well played it was too. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, he's top of the table when it comes to damage, 3,292. The second highest damage in the game was actually the Panzerkampfwagen von 4 on the enemy team, 1,519 hit points. And he was the only other one who managed to get over 1,000. You can see how overwhelming this battle was for FiliPer1n0 to win it, because he really did monster everyone else. Only 2 players over 1,000, would you believe that? And he's the only one over 3,000. The next highest scorer was the Churchill III on his own team with only 988. When it came to kills, he shared the top spot with the AMX CLC Biz. They both had 3 kills, and that's why they got the Brothers in Arms. And when it came to base XP, yes, he's definitely got that one, 2,152, which is a very, very high score indeed. But that's because he was just sitting there blasting away, punching holes in all the weak spots on the enemy tanks, and that's how he was able to take down 2 KV-222s. The next highest score after them didn't even have over 1,000. That was the Churchill III with 967, followed by the KV-222 on his own team with 838. He fired 60 rounds in that game, 53 direct hits on the enemy, 46 penetrations. Not all of his rounds went through, but then some of them actually hit the tracks of the enemy. 3,292 hit points, all of it done at close range. 16 hits received from the enemy, 5 of them penetrated, 10 non-penetrations, and 2 hits by way of splash. Both of those came from the SU-122A. 880 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 3, 22 hit points of damage assistance. He received 61,860 credits from the game, got 76,506 from personal missions per out, but he fired so much premium ammo in that game, he actually ended up with a loss of 17,781 credits overall. 2,152 XP, 6,456 from personal missions payout, and another 1,291 from this being a premium vehicle, took away 10,975 experience points altogether. The one thing I can say about the Churchill III is because it's low tier and because you can gain a lot of experience in side scraping, in aiming for weak spots and everything like that, and it's because it's got a fast firing 6-pounder 57mm gun, it is very, very good at marking. It's also very good at getting a huge amounts of XP for your crews. And I've seen many Churchill 3s with 3 stars on the barrel. So if you want to get a tank marked, this is probably one of the easiest ones to do. Just play huge numbers of these games, and also Excelsior games maybe for the British heavy tank crews, and then you'll have all the heavy tank crews trained up ready for your IS-3s and the likes when they come along. It's not surprising actually, the Churchill III served for many years during the war. In fact, actually, I think it served right up until the end of the war. And it was actually replaced by the IS-3. Yes, those are the ones that finally came in and took over from the Churchill III. They were so solidly made, they kept them going virtually the whole time until right to the very end. And yes, so it's a good idea to actually use vehicles like this to actually get your crews trained up to the right sort of levels, so that when you do go out into battle, you're not going to have any trouble at all to take down the enemies, because your crews are going to be so well trained up, the shells will go exactly where you aim them. So I hope you enjoyed that game, and thanks FiliPer1n0 again for sending us another really great game in a lower tier tank. And if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And of course, please do remember to let other people know that our channel exists, and of course that we've got a second channel called The General, where you can watch great replays without any commentary whatsoever. Thanks for watching.